So friends, in this video we are going to learn the BIOS concept, especially the ME region BIOS concept, because nowadays the laptops, the new laptops, there are so many problems arise due to the BIOS, and we are not able to identify the problem, whether it is a problem of the CPU or whether it is problem in the RAM or it's from the BIOS, and we flash the BIOS, but the still problem was there on the motherboard. So in this video we are going to learn all the steps of what is a BIOS, how it's work, what are their regions, everything we'll learn. But before that, we are going to see what is a ME regions. So in the CPU, in the Intel CPU, there is another CPU inside the CPU, like CPU within the CPU. So this is a CPU. Within that there is another CPU, and this is a 486 CPU, 486 CPU that is run with its own operating system. Like the Windows have their own operating system for this CPU, but this smaller CPU inside the CPU have their another operating system, and that operating system is called the Minix operating system. And as soon as we turn on the laptops or the desktop motherboard, they immediately this operating system start. Is no need to power on, but before that this operating system start and it's coordinate with this entire CPU, see all the structures, see all the securities and everything, you take care of this CPU using this Minix operating system. This CPU is basically used for the security purpose, like in the newer generation laptops there are a lot of threats and a lot of hackings are going on. So the security purpose, the data and the system security purpose, there is a this processor is used inside the processor. Okay, so our BIOS, the BIOS have the total 4 regions. Like suppose this is our BIOS number start from 25. Okay, the 25 you can see here in the screen, the BIOS number is a Winborn BIOS and the number start from 25064. The 25 stand for the BIOS and 64 indicate the BIOS capacity, that is 64 megabyte. It's a capacity, 64 megabit, not a byte, 64 megabit, and divided by 8 is a bytes. So its a capacity is a 64 megabit divided by 8 megabyte. It's a capacity of this BIOS. The BIOS is basically a textbook for the CPU. When the CPU start, when we turn on the laptop, at that time CPU access this BIOS, read the BIOS and do accordingly work. And this BIOS have total 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 and 5, total 5 compartment. Like if you have cupboards, the cupboards have the total number of compartments are there, and we can keep all the things in the compartment. Similarly, the BIOS have total 5 compartment. The first compartment name is the descriptor. Descriptor is basically the layout of the entire BIOS, just like an index page. Suppose if you have books and the books have an index page, so similarly the descriptor is something like index of the entire BIOS, enable and disable all the securities and everything is there in the descriptor. The second is a CSME region. CS stand for Converged Security Manageability Engine. Okay, and this region is basically take care of management of Intel management, then trusted management, power management, basically all the security purpose these sections are used. The next section is called the GB region. The GB region for the gigabyte Ethernet region, where the mapping, net mapping, then the MAC ID is there in this regions. The next region is the BIOS region. Here is actually the BIOS there. The when the PC start, that time the CPU do the post is called the power on self test, and all the informations are in this region. So this is actually our main BIOS, and these are all the different regions. And this last region is called the PDR region, where the platform descriptor region. And in this region, basically when we turn on the laptop, at that time we can see on the screen like a Dell, HP or some other logos are appear on the screen. That is because of this PDR region, that information is given in this PDR region. Okay, so these are the total 5 regions in the any BIOS. Our main thing is the CSME region. The CSME region have this more 1, 2, 3, 4, this 5 department in within the CSME region. CSME region is basically used for the security purpose. This TXT for the trust is used for the trusted engine execution. That means only the trusted, here is the hardware is there for using for the trusted things only work. That means if some malwares or some spying will happen, then this TXT stop that. Then PMC for the power management controller, this is a PCH controller, and this is for the type C controller. So these are the 5 more department within the CSMA regions. Okay. So now when we turn on, so here is the inside, either whether it is the CPU or on the PCH, there is a processor that I already told that there is a processor called the 486, and there is a BIOS, and this processor have its own memories and own RAMs and own BIOS. Okay, and when we turn on at that time, the CPU, this internal CPU starts and reading from descriptor, then CSME region, then BIOS region, and the GB region. So these are the steps. First he load the clocks, then he boot from the CSME region, he check all the securities, all the parameter, all the fuses, all the password, whatever are there, he check everything, and if anything is wrong, he stop generating the clocks and stop the entire system. Then if it is complete all the security region, then you pass to the internal setting, initialize all the component, and then do all the generating the clocks, and then CPU start executing the BIOS region. So this BIOS region start where he check all the parameters, like he check all the power on self test and everything. Okay, so this is the steps to run the BIOS. Now what will happen in the motherboard if the CSME region BIOS is corrupt? Okay, suppose if you have a laptop, then how will I identify that my CSME region BIOS is corrupt or the ME region BIOS is corrupt? So now the symptom is, first, if you find when you turn on the laptop but display is getting very late, display coming very late. Okay, when you turn on the laptop, when you press the switch, then after 1 minute display will appear. That is a number one symptom. Number two symptom is when you start the laptop, the fan spinning is very high speed, fan rotating is very high speed. That is a second symptom. The third symptom is laptop is turned off on particular time, like say around 30 minutes, 1 minute or 1 minute. It's like that. On the particular, like say 30 minutes, laptop will immediately turn off within the 30 minutes. So not 29 minutes, not 31 minutes. So sometime laptop turn off within a not a fixed time, like sometime turn off 10 minutes or 15 minutes. That is a cooling, that is a heating issue. But if the CSME region BIOS is corrupt, at that time the laptop turn off within a fixed time interval. Okay, so remember that point. The next step is when we turn on the laptop, when we press the laptop is turn on and gets off. Again we press the laptop turn on and gets off. We can see on the DC power supply, there we can there will be some 70-80 or maybe maximum say around 100 milliampere current appear, and then it go back to 5 milliampere. Again when we press again the power switch, the current jump to the 70-80 milliampere and then turn off. When you again press, the same thing will happen. That means the laptop is not fully turning on. It's supposed to generate the CPU core and everything, but it's not turning on. So that is one of the symptom if the CSME region BIOS is corrupt. The next is display come on multiple attempt. Display come on multiple attempt means when we press the laptop is turned on but it's not giving the display. Then we again turn off, again we press the power button, again display is not coming. When we turn off again we press the power button, laptop turn on, display comes. So for that means we attempt multiple times and then one time the display come on the screen. So that is one of the symptom. Then the next symptom is device is not detecting. So when we turn on the laptop, is not detecting the hard disk, is not detecting the keyboard, is not detecting the mouse, not detecting anything. That is the next symptom. And the last symptom is laptop is turned on but not booting, is not detecting OS. So these are some common symptom if the ME region BIOS is corrupt. Okay. So now what we require to rectify this problem? So to rectify this problem, first what we have to do is we have to remove the BIOS from the motherboard, and we have to read the BIOS, and that BIOS is something around, say around 25x64. So this is my BIOS 25x64. That means this is a 8 MB BIOS, or say around 16 MB BIOS. So whatever it may be. So this is my old corrupted BIOS. So first you require this old corrupted BIOS which give the problem in the motherboard. So first thing we require this BIOS. Okay. Second thing we require ME analyzer. This is a tool we require. What is that? The ME analyzer. Okay. We'll see all this thing very practically. And the next thing we will require Intel repositionary file. So this is a clean Intel file. So this is something like a drivers. So every Intel CPU or the PCH have a particular clean file. Suppose when we installing the OS on the in the motherboard, at that time we require some drivers. Suppose the camera not works, at that time we require a particular driver to run that camera, to work that camera. So similarly here the repositionary files required for the particular PCH or the particular CPU. The all repositionary files are different versions. Okay, so we require that, and this will get from the Intel. Okay, the next tools we require, that is a FITC tool. Okay, so this four things we require. So we are using all these three component, and then we'll take this file, that is a clean ME BIOS. Okay, so how we'll take that, we'll see. So suppose this is my old BIOS. Okay, so this is my 16 MB BIOS which is a corrupt, which is giving which is not turning on. Just when we press the power button, at that time the laptop turn on and then immediately turn off. So suppose this is a CSME region is corrupt, then what I have to do? First I have to go to the ME analyzers and I have to run ME analyzer. Okay, so this is ME analyzer. I have to drag this file like this. Okay, so I drag this file, then I have to press enter. Okay, so when I enter, so these are the parameters that appear on the screen. So here the BIOS, this is my BIOS, the version is 11.0.0.1202. So these are the numbers called the major, minor, suffix and prefix. It's called the number, like suppose when we connecting the devices through the network, at that time we know the IP address are there. This is something like that. So these are the versions of the ME region BIOS. So this my particular BIOS region version is 11.0.0.1202. Okay, and this type is extracted. Okay, so this is extracted file, and here is a corporate. This model number is a corporate and LP, and this is basically used for the Skylake and Kaby Lake, so 6 and 7 generations. Okay, so these parameter we have to remember. Okay, and the next we have to remember, that is this file is supposed to be initialized file. Okay, this initialized file, and then we require particular FITC tool. So the FITC tool number we require, that 11.0.0.1202. So this tools we require. Okay, so first we'll see what are these numbers. So here is given description. So this is a, already I told, these are the version numbers. There's a major, minor, hotfix and build. So these are the number. Then type either could be stock or extracted. Then either it could be a consumer, corporate, slim, light, 1.5 MB or 5 MB. Either of this, anything will be this. And then it should be the H or LP, N or V. Okay, either of this number should be there. And then the file system state will be unconfigured, configured and initialized. The three state of the file. Unconfigured means Intel original CPU or original PCH file. That means nothing is written on that file. That is called an unconfigured file. And the configured file means when the Intel given the sold this to the Dell, for example, and then Dell installed that CPU on a particular motherboard and configured it according to his model, and that file is called the configured file. And when Dell sell that particular laptop to the end user, and the end user install all the operating system, serial numbers and everything will put, password and everything put, and that file is called the initialized file. So these are the three states of the file: the unconfigured, configured and the initialized. Okay, and here is the size of that ME region. Okay, and these tools we require, FITC tools, that is 13.0. So these are numbers we require. Okay, so here we require 11.0.0.1202. This is a clean file we require, and we require this tool, that is 11.0.12. So we'll see where it is. So here is my system tools. I have to go to the system tools. Here is my systems tool. These are my clean ME, all the files, and I have to go to the 11 here. So this is my 11 version. So what I have to do is I have to copy. I'll copy this file, and I kept this file to the I'll keep this file to the here. So here I got the now 3 file. This is my old BIOS file, that is a corrupted ME region. Then I have this ME analyzer, and this tools I put here. This ME is Intel CSME tools version 11. Okay, now the next thing I require, that is clean repository file. Okay, so that I require is 11.0.0.1202. So in this folder I have CSME repository file. So I'll go to CSME firmware repository file. The number is my, what is the number? 11.0.0. So 11.0 here, 11.0, and then 11.0.0.1202, 11.0.0.12. Consumer, CON stand for consumer, COR stand for corporate. So I have to go to the corporate, not the CON, corporates, and it's LP, corporate. So corporate H, corporate LP. So I have to select this file. You can see here there are so many files. Okay, so corporate, COR, this file. So 11.0.0.1202 COR corporate and then LP. So this is my clean ME file. So what I have to do is I just copy this file, and I'll put that file into this trial versions, this trial folder. So I keep this file on the trial folder. Okay, so what I did is I kept all the files in a single folder, so I can easily access all these files. So what I'll do is I'll go to the Intel CSME region, then FITC tool, then FIT.exe file. Okay, so this file is open, FIT file is open, and then what I'll do is I drag that file. I will drag that old file. This is my corrupted file. Okay, so I'll drag that file into here. It takes some time. Okay, now it's ready. So this file already drag, and it's giving all the parameters. So these are all parameters, and here's my CSME region is 11.0.0.1202 corporate editions. Okay, so the next thing what I have to do is simple. I have to go to the build and build setting. Okay, simple. Then I have to go to the generate immediate file, and here I have to click no. Okay, generate immediate file, I have to select no, then close. Okay, then what I do, I have to save this file. I have to select this trial, and then I have to save this file at the same folder. What we did is we save this file on the same folder. So file is saved. Okay, so everything is finished now. Then what I'll do is I'll just minimize this. Then the file is saved. So this file is created. This file is created XML. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to copy this file, and then I have to go to this Intel CSME system tools. Then I have to go to the flash image tools. Then I have to go to the 32 Win32. Then this BIOS OG, then DCOM, and here I have to paste. Okay, so the file is pasted. So here are the my BIOS is a different regions are there. So this what this software did is this software bifurcate my BIOS into the different regions. So these are the BIOS regions, these are the descriptor regions, these are the ECU regions, GB region, ME region. So these are the different region, and here we copy this clean ME file, which is a clean ME file, which we copy from our repositioning file to here. So what I have to do is I have to rename this file. So I have to remove, I have to rename this file to me region.bin. Okay, me region.bin. I have to delete this file. I will delete this file, delete, and I have to rename to the, yeah, this, done. So this is my me region. Okay, so everything is done now. So after that I have to go again to the FRTC tool, and then here I have to drag that XML file, this file, this one, okay, which we created. So I have to drag this file to here, and then once this drag, the it shows all the parameters. These are all the parameters. Okay, and then what I have to do is I have to go to the build, and I have to click here build image. Build image, yes, it's building the BIOS. Okay, now the BIOS is built, and where this BIOS is built, here, what is the name of that BIOS will be, here, the out image. The BIOS name will be out image.bin. So I'll to cancel, and I'll go to the system tools, then go to the flash image tools, 32, and here is my BIOS, out image.bin. So this is my clean ME BIOS. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this, I'll go back, and I paste here, so this is, I rename it clean ME BIOS. Okay. So here you can see this is my old BIOS which is corrupted, and this is my clean ME BIOS. Okay. So this is the outcome. Now we'll analyze it. I'll go to the analyzer. Then I have to run this, and what I'll do is I will drag this file here and then press enter. Then it will show here a parameter. Then we'll compare both the BIOS parameters. So this is my clean ME BIOS, this new BIOS, and then this one is my old BIOS. You can see here both BIOS are there. You can see the comparison. Both versions are same, 11.0.0.1202, production, extracted, corporate LP, SPT, KBT, and only the difference you can see, that is the old BIOS is initialized and our new BIOS is configured. Okay, so that is the only difference. So this is a configured BIOS. So that means our CSME region, that is a clean, and we got this clean BIOS. Now what I have to do is we have to copy this file into our BIOS, and we have to turn on the laptop. The laptop will be turned on, it will restart 2 or 3 times, and then the display will appear on the screen. So the friend, in this way we have to do all the processing for the clean ME BIOS, and in this way we have to use all this tool to solve this clean ME BIOS problem. Thank you very much.